From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning on Mornings LALATE, live from Santa Monica as your fourth stimulus check of 2021 heats up. And the reconciliation bill has been released in part. We'll be going over that bill that was released 645 pages on Friday and then another 881 pages minutes ago. I'll go over the breaking news happening right now as the reconciliation budget bill has monthly stimulus checks for children in there and all checks from the American people across the board. Lots of checks, thousands of dollars for seniors being helped by other people, by adult daycare, thousands of dollars, for money for vehicles, money for cars, money for house repairs, money for medicine, money for dental, money for vision, and more. Thousands and thousands of dollars across the board. There isn't a single item that isn't deliciousness. Then we'll be cutting to what's happening with the Senate, back in session this afternoon, the House in subcommittees right today. And then we'll be going over the meat and potatoes of what's else proposed under this fourth stimulus recon. We'll be cutting to those IRS and monthly stimulus checks as well. And then we'll be cutting to more money that viewers continue to get. It's a big day with a lot of breaking news because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and this is a delicious broadcast of breaking news starting right here, right now on Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's LALATE here in Santa Monica, live with you. As the financial markets start their weakest month again since the month of January, new inflationary concerns released this morning and new concerns about the supply chain. But the big news, of course, is the reconciliation budget bill released. The first 645 pages released on Friday, then another 881 pages in total released today. There's thousands of more pages still to be released, but the pages so far, deliciousness. Lots of checks for the American people. Checks that Purple Hawks are going to do really, really well for. I'll be going over these checks for you. And there we go, because the tow hitch is right at the edge of the finish line. There is a self-proposed deadline for Wednesday, but I'll explain what that faux deadline really means. And then we'll be going over the other items that are proposed for that fourth stimulus recon. Lots of other checks, checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for vision and dental and health. And then we'll be cutting to those IRS checks. The push underway to get those IRS monthly stimulus checks in there as well. It's a big broadcast with so much breaking news, and it's going to be a little bit different than usual because this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning like right now and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Morning's Crypto at 10 a.m. Then at 11 a.m. is noontime with more breaking news about this reconciliation battle today. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. The most comprehensive, the most in-depth, and the most accurate reporting across the globe. 24 hours a day for financial news every day. And join this channel as a new 10 o'clock show is added tonight as well. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so that you get all access to that big money available under third stimulus. And you're going to meet someone today who got even more money than ever before. Meantime, if you haven't signed up for those LA alerts, please do so. Nearly 4,000 people have signed up for those LA alerts, and about 1,000 are still waiting in the confirmation mode. Put your name and email address in. The link is in the video description. It's at news.la.com. You get an alert when anything happens, and you can get those alerts on the go. Alert when a new video goes live as well. Let's cut to the details that is happening minutes ago with the breaking news right now. The breaking news right now is that on Friday, the House side released the first 645 pages of your fourth stimulus reconciliation budget bill. Then today, they released more pages, bringing it potentially collectively to 881 pages. This is very big news for many, many reasons. First, let's understand Who released this? The House side. I have been telling you over the last few weeks that it was likely that the House were the lead authors on the reconciliation budget bill, but we never had confirmation. Today we got that confirmation. They are the lead authors on the actual writing. Number two, I have been telling you in recent days and certainly over the weekend that the way they determine when to write is when they agree to something. That the way they were doing this, Democrats, because it's only Democrats, no Republicans involved, is going face to face, going to their offices, having a cup of coffee and saying, what do you agree upon? Do you agree upon this? And once they agree upon that item is over the finish line. Then they go write that item because we've already agreed upon it. There's no live stream on C-SPAN of them in their office. There's no TikTok video. There's nothing that shows them having that final agreement. Once they reach that verbal agreement, they're done. Then they say, go write it to confirm the verbal agreement. And then they say, call the vote on that thing they already verbally agreed to. So the first 645 pages released on Friday came with the confirmation, again, of my reporting, that those items are items they had agreed upon. So these items are a done deal. These are items they've already agreed upon. Now understand, that's not a full bill. It's just part of a bill. It's a markup. It's a draft. It's not the whole bill. But I will call it as the bill to make it for clarification, for make it for simplicity of this channel. The first 645 pages of what will be the bill was released on Friday. Today, the number grew to 881 because guess what? These are the House members. They are actually in subcommittee all last week, all this weekend, all the weekend before, Labor Day weekend, working around the clock. So senators are in town working around the clock as well. The word in session refers to being in the Senate floor that appears on C-SPAN. Will they be doing anything on the Senate floor in session today starting at 3 o'clock? Really, no, because they don't have anything to vote upon. They will be arguing, and that's what they will do. They will use the opportunity to be oral advocating for certain items, but they won't be working on the Senate floor when they're in session today. There's nothing to vote on at the moment. The 645 pages released on Friday then were ramped up to 881 pages this morning. And the 881 pages this morning did not add more checks in there, but talked about the issue of the pay-for, the corporate tax rate, which at issue had been at 21% under current law, proposed by the president at 28%. Joe Manchin had asked for 25. The president agreed to 25 several months ago. This comes in at 26.5, so almost the same amount. But there's word on the street that the Senate Democrats may come in lower. So there's this slight modification. Again, the 881 pages that came out this morning, not more checks. But so far, what checks are confirmed? Wow, they are incredible. There's checks, lifetime, for hazard pay earned income tax credit to be a permanent fixture of the income tax code. Wow. So hazard pay earned income tax credit would be lifetime. Number two, monthly stimulus checks for the children. $300 a month upwards for 18 years. Yes, that's over $3,000 a year for 18 years. Number three, checks for all types of seniors, all types of workers, checks for thousands of dollars, $4,000 to tend to the care of seniors, checks to tend to the care of young adults, money to buy a car, money to repair a house, money to buy a bicycle, lots and lots and lots of checks. And unlike previous stimulus packages where we're talking about $300 and $400 items, no. These are $4,000 items. These are big ticket items. I'm going to go over more about these now confirmed checks in the recon first 645 pages in the final 15 minutes of the video. Then I'll be going over what else is in that 811 pages released this morning. Then I'll be going over the other checks that are proposed, like checks for seniors, checks for dental, checks for vision, also in that fourth stimulus recon. A lot of checks. And then we'll be going over what I call now the IRS and monthly stimulus check, because there are monthly stimulus checks in here. Don't want you to get those confused with the other items. Wow, a lot coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. But first, let's go to the big money that you can get right today. And it's third stimulus. And we have a new inspirational story. You know, when we were back in January, this channel, and we were looking at the proposed legislation of the upcoming stimulus package, just like we are right now, I was looking at what was proposed for third stimulus. I said, there's a lot of money I can get you for this. Just like how we're looking at fourth right now, I said there's a lot of other money. Well, guess what? The money is still available for third stimulus, and you can get fortunes for it starting right now. So get a pen, paper ready, and a cell phone, and I have a new inspirational story to start the day. I also have new places to get the sums of money. So the new inspirational story comes from Mark. I had told you Mark has a second update, and here was the second update I told you was coming over the weekend. Mark now reveals, in addition to the $50,500 I showed you that Mark already got, he got an additional $60,000 for the EIDL loan. He got $6,000 back from his state. He also got help. He also helped his brother-in-law. This is the true spirit of the Purple Power, helping other people. So his brother-in-law, through to Mark's help, got $30,000 for rent, $15,000 for utilities, $2,500 back from IRS, $24,000 for EIDL, then $6,000 back from the state, $75 for internet, $50 for each phone. Wow. I mean, that is an incredible win. I mean, that's just, I haven't added it up, but it sounds enormous. It's just incredible. I mean, it's clearly over 50, it's clearly over 50,000. It's just a lot of money. He says, "Thank you, LA, for helping people like me and my family to save our homes and our businesses." Thank you for those very, very kind words, Mark. His brother also got $21,000 for Snap. Yeah, just want to throw that in there as well. Wow, it just keeps on going on. He says, "You are the one that needs the praise, LA, because if it wasn't for you, a lot of people would be homeless and hungry. God bless you and your family. Keep on going." Well, I really appreciate that, Mark. So get that pen and paper ready, because we're going to get some big money for rent. And we're going to get big money for rent, utilities, food, internet, and we're going to do it right now. This is money you can get right today, and you can start getting it right this moment. This is third stimulus, and it pays a lot. When we look at the rent, the numbers are absolutely enormous. $27,000. You saw Mark's brother-in-law got $21,000. So everyone is getting over $20,000. When we look at utilities, Johnny, who I featured over the weekend, got $9,000 for utilities. You just saw the brother-in-law get $21,000 for Snap. So look and see how these numbers are going bigger. Johnny bigger on utilities. The brother-in-law going bigger on Snap. Yes, this is what's happening. And then while Mark was originally at $32,000, Mark is now close to almost, I don't know, I think he's about $80,000 at this point. And guess what? The sky's the limit, because this is what we do, and this is LA. I've been doing this since day one. This channel was launched to deliver you breaking financial news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get you money that's available under all these stimulus packages. And I did that starting on day one, when I got people $25 million of EIDL loans, saving their businesses, their homes, and employees' homes, starting in April. Then I turned to unemployment assistance and got people the big sums of money available under PUA with a very difficult application that went live for the first time in the U.S. on April 28th. $15,000 for Eileen Bellicamp and other people. Then over the next few months, I did all the other applications, but in fall 2020, there was no second stimulus check coming, so I had to step forward and get people money. And I got them $250,000 for rent. That's like Tyrone and his family for out of Boston. Now we're doing it again, because guess what? This money pays today. This money is available today. This money you can get, and it's a fortune. So get that pen, paper, and cell phone ready, and I have some more details I'm going to show you for the first time on Mornings LA. So I'm going to show you 6 places you reach out to. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Number 2, it's important to say the keywords I say in this video. It really helps keep people approved. If the first place says no, reach out to the next. They have different pots of money and different eligibility. Reach out to all 6 of 6 and finally understand that every state has money. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. And if I talk too fast, you can always replay the video. You can reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, and your county housing authority, your state hall, and your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage, or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. If you got this money as well, post in the live chat right now. Now, let's go back over that again, though. Utilities, I want you to reach out to every utility company you have. So if you have 7 utility bills or 5 utility bills, call up every company and say, utility assistance because of COVID. Finally, if you are in a very, very rare circumstance where you've reached out to all 6 of the 6 and have gotten all no's on rent, mortgage assistance, and utilities, then consider the nonprofits of 2020 detailed on this channel on purple. Those videos are coming back now into replay starting tonight. because this is the same sums of money you can get right now, and I'm bringing back those videos, that those nonprofits paid in fall of 2020, paid in spring of 2021, and what are they? Who are they? They are Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, United Way, and Salvation Army to start. And let's turn to the next bottle of money. The money is money for SNAP. It comes from the Department of Agriculture, pays a lot. Family of four out of Boston, a family of four gets a lot of money. And Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, her mom. Gail got it as well. Mark was sitting on $19,000. He's now heading to $25,000 because the Department of Agriculture raised everyone's benefits up an average of 25% lifetime starting in October, automatically nationwide. Then finally, let's turn to the refund check coming back from your state. The refund check due to overpayment of computer error. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. Viewers continue to get this. This is the one where the computer error caused overpayment on employee benefits. And finally, the refund check coming back from IRS for that 2020 taxes you paid on unemployment benefits. Average payout is anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. It lands by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Go to irs.gov to do a transcript search of that. Meantime, personal message from me to you. This channel was launched for me to help people get money, but you help them by jumping in the live chat right now and posting your success stories for rent, utilities, and food, because people just need to pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone, because when you do, you've changed your life. Because that's not just third stimulus. Fourth stimulus will be about picking up the phone as well. Pick up the phone. So post your success stories in the live chat, because first you inspire people to realize they need to pick up the phone. They realize the numbers are bigger and bolder. They realize they need to get 3 items like Art Sullivan and Nisi inspired us to do. And finally, they realize this is a lot of money. And with that, we go into the second part of this video starting right now. Here we go. The reconciliation budget bill is being released in written format. Wow. Where are we? Let's go over where we are. And it's very important to understand this because we're right at the edge of the finish line. And as we get close, things can get confusing. We had a reconciliation procedural, we have a reconciliation substantive, and we have a bipartisan. Originally, the recon was the only thing there was, and they had roads and bridges in there, making the recon unpassable. So what did they do? The Democrats in the month of June agreed to take out the roads and bridges from the recon and put in the bipartisan into something they created called the bipartisan, and now it made both bodies of legislation passable. That's what conservative publication confirms in my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before with the roads and bridges in there, the harder it was to pass. But by taking the roads and bridges out of the recon, putting it into the bipartisan, the overall price tag got smaller, and that's the way the bipartisan made the recon passable. The way the Democrats legislate with fellow Democrats, because remember, this reconciliation or recon is only Democrats needed to vote in favor of it. They don't need any Republicans. Is they first have meetings face to face. When they agree to something, that's done. And they did that in the month of June. That's why on this channel I told you that the Democrats agreed upon a recon, $3.5 trillion, and that they're going to do it. And that by the time they wrote it up, they had already agreed upon it. The writing is just the confirmation of the oral agreement. That when they voted on it in August, it was just the voting on something they had orally agreed upon. Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, everyone agreed upon it. Done deal, signed and sealed. That vote happened and passed quickly on both the House and Senate side in August. So that call for that money was a very big call. And that's why Representative Richie Torres, Democrat from New York, and also Representative Ilhan Omar, I said we need a recon that goes as big as balls we want it, because they wanted to get a lot of checks, which I'm about to go over in a second, in there, and they wanted big payouts. You're going to see these checks are not $100 checks. They're $1,000 checks. And that is why the president had told Brian Schatz and Jalpa, protect the recon because everything in there is checks for the American people, progressive priority checks. So what's the difference between a recon? What's the difference between a bipartisan? This is very important as we're right at the edge of the finish line. So the recon procedural has passed. That tow truck has passed over the finish line. Now they're doing the tow hitch, which is how to spend the money in those subcommittees. Let's go over the 2 items we have to do. Recon, the whole recon, and then the bipartisan. One is your money, one is not your money. So let's compare. Recon is your money, also called the reconciliation, also called the budget bill, also called the Democratic spending plan, social reform plan. Bipartisan, not your money. $1.5 trillion, also called the infrastructure or roads and bridges. Well, we have finished reconciliation. That reconciliation procedural. That's in the books. That's done. That's a tow truck. Sorry. Now we're doing the tow hitch. And that is slightly similar, but a little bit different. Reconciliation procedural basically said, are we doing a recon at 3.5 trillion and we're giving money to the committees? Yeah, we are. So guess what? Now these committees are writing up how to spend the money. And that is why we have the first 645 pages released, because guess what? It's the first 645 pages saying, how are we spending the money? And how do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalopal, who told Schumer to call a vote on the recon. That the letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus, who called for a monthly IRS stimulus check. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 House Ways and Means members also wrote the president a letter saying they're putting a monthly 4th IRS stimulus checks in there as well. Well, Purple Power, we have a lot of people calling for that monthly stimulus check, so we have to push and make sure they keep their promise. Let's go over those people again. We have Warren, Wyden, and Sanders. We have AOC and Omar. We have the House bill calling $1,000 a month, pandemic plus 1 year. And we have the House Ways and Means. Can we top that? Yes. As we got the global minimum corporate tax rate out of the recon, and now it is separated from the recon, making the recon passable. And guess what? We are at the edge of the finish line. In the final 15 minutes of this video, we will be going over all this incredible breaking news. We will be going over these checks. These checks that are a lot of them and big ticket items in the first 645 pages of what could be an 8,000-page bill released. We'll be going over the other checks that are proposed that are likely to get into the next pages that are released. Then we're going to go over the items that are pushing for. And then we'll be going over the nuance of the deadline, potentially, and everything else you need to know, and certainly that world exclusive about the IRS monthly stimulus check. But can we top that? Yes, the volunteers. If you have not gotten any money on the third stimulus, today is your day. You need to pick up the phone and call. Start calling today. Get that rent assistance, utility, mortgage assistance. Pick up the phone. This is your money, because fourth stimulus is going to be so easy for you when you do. You'll see that in a second in the final 15 minutes of this video as I go over the fourth stimulus. But here's a little bit about the community page as Mornings LA continues. Be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Mornings LALATE as the excitement heats up. Boy, it's a big day with so many details. We'll be going over the reconciliation budget bill now released. All the details are coming out across the board. We'll be going over everything you need to know across the land and everything that you need to see. We'll be going over the money at issue. We'll be going over the checks, the biggest payout across the board. We'll be going over how you get these checks and what this means for you. Then we'll be cutting to the 881 pages. And finally, after that, we will go to the push for those IRS monthly stimulus checks. But first, a little bit also about this stimulus. And with that, What a big day it is, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video too, 30,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. The link's under this video. And meantime, if you haven't signed up for those LA alerts, please do so. First, a quick message about this stimulus. Well, this stimulus starts by drafting in September out to a potential vote by November. And at issue is all the strange economic news coming out this morning. Wall Street is starting again its worst month since January. The concern is that the transitory belief about inflation rates may not be transitory, that it may be long-term. At issue is the following: what is called supply chain issues. They're worried that goods are not getting out of ports of the country and into distribution hands so that you can't get products. They say if the supply chain issue continues, then we could see inflation much longer, and that could cause bigger economic uncertainty and more labor problems. But if the supply chain issue solves itself quicker, then we could have inflation come back down much quicker. Let's go over the benefits of SSI reform. This stimulus September out for a potential vote in November. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And yes, it's going to be transitory, but how high? Let's say 5%. That means we'll raise your benefits up 5%, not just next year, but a lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. They'll remove the income cap dating back to a 1980s law that says 60s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. They'll remove the marriage penalty that says you can't have more than that, you can't be married and also stay on benefits. And finally, the asset cap is going to go away, and you will be able to have more than $3,000 on hand. Will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will be. The House Ways and Means individuals represent for next year. And finally, Purple Hawks. If you're on the live chat and you've not become a Purple Hawk, you need to right now. You notice people in the live chat have a Purple Hawk emoji next to their names. Why is it so important? Because daily I deliver to the Purple Hawks, Purple Powers, and Casino VIP members of this channel a breakdown of all the big money available under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. There's a fortune for you to get. And it's very similar to what's going on right now. In January this year, before third stimulus became a law, I had a world exclusive details of what was proposed under third stimulus. And I showed it to viewers at the time. I said, there's a lot of money in there. More than a stimulus check, and I can get you upwards of $14,000. When it became a law, Purple Hawks were ready to pounce. And now you see, they're getting $60,000, $80,000 routinely. $20,000 is a starting number for a lot of people, multiple items. This is what's going to happen under fourth stimulus, and it's going to happen in just 2 minutes from now. Because as I show you what's proposed in the fourth stimulus, you're going to be laser focused and ready to pounce as a Purple Hawk to get this money as soon as it goes live. And with that, let's go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. And here we go. The recon bill, first 645 pages, has been released. Wow, away we go. Let's understand what we have. We have bipartisan roads and bridges over there, not going to discuss that. And then we have our money, the recon, the reconciliation procedural passed, tow truck, now the tow hitch, how to spend the money, slowly edging over the finish line. Number one, the first 645 pages of what's agreed upon has been released. Again, these are items they've already verbally met, discussed, and verbally agreed upon. And then they said, go write it up. So these are a done deal. There is no opposition to these issues. They are agreed upon. And what are they? Here they are. Checks for all different kinds, and starts with the hazard pay check. The hazard pay check, the earned income tax credit, which slid into third stimulus, would become a lifetime. Let's go over briefly what this is. Hazard pay in 2020 took its own format, but by 2021, it was manifest in something called a modification of the Earned Income Tax Code. The Earned Income Tax Code dates back many 20, 30 years, but it was modified under third stimulus to provide money to what was essentially essential workers and give them more eligibility by dropping the age and more money by increasing the payout. And it was still called the Earned Income Tax Credit, but it was a way to compensate these essential workers. Now, fourth stimulus proposes to make this a lifetime, meaning that if you continue to work in that type of environment and are eligible, you would get this earned income tax credit permanently under the tax code every year that you qualify for it. It's absolutely incredible. That's number one. Number two, then there is, I'm going to go over some broad items and then go back over some specifics. There's going to be money to buy cars and trucks. There's going to be educational grants that are completely tax-free. There's going to be incentives to buy homes and rehab them in poor neighborhoods. And then there's going to be money for other items, which are a little too complicated to cover on this channel. All right, now let's go to some of the specifics. Well, here we go. There is a lot of big items. Among them is $4,000 of a credit for caring for the elderly. If you're an individual who cares for the elderly, you could get a new payroll tax credit of $4,000 annually every year for caring for the elderly. Also, if you care for children, $4,000 annually. This is huge. This is a lot of money. They are going to propose, there is a 15% pay for to if you want to buy an electric bike. The federal government will pick up 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike, and a lot of electric bikes are not that expensive. So that's a lot of money they're picking. That's a big chunk of money they're picking up. There is a massive new subsidy if you need to buy an electric vehicle or electric car, whether for home or for work. And then that could be as much as $7,500. Wow, these are big sums of money. And then finally, yes, MSCs. You're going to see me starting today use the word IRS MSC to refer to the one you're used to seeing coming from IRS. This one is a different monthly stimulus check or multiple stimulus check. It's the children's check. Yes, children's age newborn to age 18 for eligible parents will get upwards of $3,600 a year paid in monthly installments for 18 years. That's a lot of months, that's a lot of checks, and that's a lot of moolah. And then there is more. There is checks for students in colleges, that some that could directly go to them as grants, and then some that go to the colleges that give it to the students. Wow, that's a lot for 645 pages. That was released first. Then they released more pages today, 811, which it's hard to look at them and figure out if it's now the totality is 811 or it's 811 on top of it. It looks like it's a totality is 811 pages we're at now. What is this one? Not checks for you, but explains sort of the pay-fors, the corporate tax rate. The president had proposed a 28% tax rate. The current tax rate is 21. I said 28 was too high. Everyone said 28 was too high. Joe Manchin says too high. So the president said, I'll do 25. This proposes 26.5. Again, it's a proposal. It is a bill draft. The Senate may do lower than 25. And this is what floated out this morning. All right, now let's go to, I think I forgot another page. There's so much stuff in here. Okay, here are some items that many believe will reach the finish line because they've been mentioned so many times. Some of these may repeat something I'm about to say in a second because it appears in two different places. There will be paid family and medical leave. There will be child care payouts for child care programs. There will be there'll be a new household tax credit. There'll be expansion of Medicare benefits for seniors, including dental, vision, and hearing, which you've heard before, and reducing the Medicare eligibility age. You've heard that on this channel before. There'll be universal pre-K free. There'll be tuition-free community college. There'll be and there'll be a lot of free energy. All right, now let's go to the other items that are proposed but have not been written up because they don't have formal verbal agreement on them yet. Here are those items. Free school meals for all, checks. Tax break checks. Cheaper prescription medication checks. Checks for farmers. Checks for free internet. Checks for clean energy. Then checks for seniors. And checks for workers. Checks for workers like independent contractors. Checks for seniors, which we just heard a second ago. It's the same one. Lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. Checks for dental. Checks for vision. And checks for hearing care. All right, there you go. A lot of checks. So that is the first 600 or 800 pages of what could be an 8,000-page bill released based upon oral agreements made by the Democrats' House and Senate with the House as the lead authors, and there you go. Reoccurring theme in there? You saw it. What was the reoccurring theme? Not automated. Not automated directly to my direct deposit account. 0 of those items are items where you just hold out the donut and it automatically comes. I had told you this was how it's going to be written. This is how it's written. But we got this because we've been doing this since day one. You've been with me since day one, whether it's EIDL or PPP or PUA or UI or PEBT or utilities or rent or SNAP or any of these items. You've been picking up the phone and calling since day one. And application-based stimulus has always been the way the country does it. IRS can't send out these checks because they don't know these situations. They don't have databases about you on these situations. And this is where you get massive sums of money. Viewers like Mark, who keeps on calling, getting more items, or his brother-in-law, who went from 0 to 6 items in just a few days. This is where Purple Hawks soar. And this is where you are going to do incredibly well. It's sort of like back in January 2020 where I showed you the items and people were like, wow, I want that. I want to make a list of the things I want. This is what you want to start doing right now. Listen to the videos, make a list of the items you want, because when it goes live, you want to absolutely know where and how to get it. And I will be the place to show you how to get that money. All right, now let's turn to the IRS MSCs, because this does have MSCs in here, just not, there's lots of monthly checks and multiple checks in here. But I want to turn now to the IRS MSCs. Democrats across the board have all said they want to give you a monthly stimulus check from the IRS, whether we have AOC or Omar or the House Ways and Means or Warren, Wyden, or Sanders. But about 6 weeks ago, I told viewers of this channel to pick up the phone and call their Democratic legislators and advocate. Margaret tells me overnight that she was doing it on day one. Thank you, Margaret. And WR did as well. He called up Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, and he advocated for a stimulus check. Advocacy involves a statement. Advocacy is something like, I need a stimulus check because this community needs a stimulus check because IRS stimulus check. Advocacy is not a question. It's not a when, where, how, why. It's not a question mark. It's a statement. And Senator Chris Coons' staffer at the time told WR, yes, he will be giving you a monthly stimulus check. He's proposing an IRS monthly stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. There you go, world exclusive. That's what advocacy involves and what it gets. Then, when we look at this recon, the full name of it is the Reconciliation Budget Bill. And what committee on the Senate side does it? The Senate Budget Committee. Now, today's language you just saw from the bill released on the House Budget side, that the Senate Budget Committee oversees this, and it has a budget chairman, and his name is Bernie Sanders. 3 weeks ago, he told the American people the way he looks at the budget bills is different than prior budget chairmen, who he said does stuff within D.C. He likes to get out amongst the people. What does amongst the people mean? I translated at that time to explain to you. It means he wants to hear from you. And immediately I told you to reach out to him and advocate, not ask, advocate. And that's what Brother Joshua, longtime viewer of this channel, who was in the early mornings broadcast earlier this morning, longtime viewer, Purple Hawk, and 2020 volunteer for the community page, did, along with Ling Delan. Advocated for a monthly stimulus check, and the staffer told Brother Joshua from Senator Bernie Sanders' office, yes, he will be proposing a fourth stimulus check an IRS fourth stimulus check in the fourth stimulus package of the following duration. Number one, it would be monthly. Number two, it would be $1,000 to $1,400, some number in their range. Number three, it would be monthly. And number four, it would run somewhere between 3 to 6 months. Finally, he would need to have your support. He wants to ensure the Americans have his support. We got this, Purple Power. Pick up the phone and call. Call Elizabeth Warren, Chuck, Bernie, AOC, Jalapal, Richie Torres. Say, I have your support. You have my support. I want this stimulus, IRS stimulus check. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You have my support. Now, let's go back over where things are right now and dates and things across the board. I've learned over time from this channel is that sometimes saying dates does not help the narrative. Why? If I were to tell you a date, let's say this Thursday, immediately someone will say, oh, that means I get money on Friday. I never said anything like that. But every time you give someone a date, they immediately take the date and twist it to say something other than what it was. There is a date floating out there for this Wednesday. I'm not going to say what the date really is because I don't think it's much of a date. And it's sort of a voluntary date. It's not a hard rule date, but there is a date sitting out there for Wednesday. That does not mean you're getting a check on Thursday or Friday. It's just a date that's out there. I also have separated out for you this notion of in session, not in session. That's really not an issue because the Senate is in session, but they don't have really anything to do because all they can do is sort of argue about the recon. They don't have it in front of them to vote on. And the way that people work is actually in their offices, and they have been working in their offices. House members are not in session, but they're actually in the subcommittees, in caucus, in meetings all day long this week. And that is where we are. The tow hitch is right in front of the finish line. The tow hitch is right there. So let's recap what's going on. Number one, recon, done. There will be a recon, $3.5 trillion, and will be all checks for the American people. And that recon will be paid for corporate taxes, the rate that's still a battleground, somewhere around the 25% range. Number two, the recon provisions are being worked upon verbally between House Democrats and Senate Democrats hour after hour. As they come to an oral agreement about it, then they say, go write it. And who writes it? The House subcommittees. As I had been predicting over the last few weeks, I was right. There was no confirmation until Friday. Again, my reporting was confirmed correct. House committees are actually the authors of what the oral agreements are from the Senate and House. And in rare circumstances with the corporate tax rate, it may just be the House side agree to that rate. Then, as they agree to more items, then they release more items that they are doing. Remember, this is just part of what could become a bill. It's not the final bill, and bills can be modified. It's likely the vote would start on the House side, then go to the Senate, which will have the vote-a-rama and have the opportunity to make modifications. Modifications could involve adding things in there that are not in there across the board. A lot of twists and turns, and we're just getting started. That seems like a lot, and it should be, because, boy, lots and lots of checks in there. But first, get some checks starting today. That rent, utilities, food, and internet. Thank you for the wonderful, kind remarks from Margaret, and of course from Mark for his very, very kind comments. And get that rent, utilities, food, internet, and SNAP starting today. Join me next on Mornings Crypto, starting in just a few minutes from now. We'll be going over the breaking news. I know there was a problem with the overnight's crypto broadcast; it didn't air for some reason. But we'll be going over the breaking news with crypto and why coins did not deliver as anticipated in their Sunday run. Wow. They are breaking through resistance levels, and this is what I warned viewers was happening, and I was right again on that. So watch that coming up in just 3 minutes from now, and then I'm back with you at 11 a.m. on noontime, live on air, and more details as we go over more about this recon. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The toast was toast, and the butter was buttering. And I'm next back with you as the crypto is cryptoing on Mornings this morning.